Okay, I think we are live. Should be popping up here in a sec. What's up, everybody? All right, I think we're up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my first ever live Q&A. I'm nervous. This is weird. And usually I have Zach and CP to bounce thoughts off of, so excuse my nervousness on this, but I'm doing this for you guys. Just for getting me here to 5,000. I couldn't thank you guys enough. So yeah. What's up, Mr. Nerdista? Big fan of your channel, man. If you guys in the chat don't know Aguiar, Mr. Nerdista, some of the best video essays I've seen on the YouTube. So definitely check him out if you haven't. But honored for you to be here, good sir. Can you guys hear me, first of all? I'm assuming you can. If you want, go ahead and shoot me some questions. That'd be fine. If you want to just have a general discussion about anything, horror, that's fine. Movies in general, not just horror, but yeah. Hello from Canada and congrats. What's up, Deadite04, Mustafa, Egwin, Haley, how's it going, man? I'm going good, man. I'm doing really good. You see, the nervousness is coming out. But yeah, I'm doing really good. Lindsay, that horror. How are you doing, my good horror buddy? Nice to see you. Jake Percy. Yeah. Gore, what's up, Gore? Man, Gore is flying up there. He's like 10,000. Could be like 15 now. I have no idea, but he's doing awesome. Ryan Powell. Yes, you guys can hear me. Sweet. Leezus. That's a funny name. If you guys don't know what Leezus is, in Killer Flicks, they gave me that nickname because I created that site, and so really CP kind of started it because he was poking fun at me saying the almighty Leezus. So I did not give myself that name, but what's up, Rob? Green Arrow, nice to see you. Z Killa M3 RKD. You, man, that's a interesting name, but hey, that's cool. Jake Percy. Okay, aside from Halloween, what's your favorite horror franchise? Probably Friday the 13th. Yeah. I love Friday the 13th. As a matter of fact, the first movie really to scare me was Friday the 13th, part 3. I've shared this story many times, but part 3, I saw maybe 2 seconds of the movie because I was so scared. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, late horror show. What's up, man? VHS videos. Me too. I'm actually planning my next VHS review here pretty soon, so really excited about that. I never planned on getting back into VHS, but really it's you guys, the horror community, that got me back into it. I started digging back into like retro horror, and I was thinking this would be really cool to actually go back and get like an old 1980s TV and actually watch horror the way it was back in the day when I was a kid, how I watched Friday the 13th part 3. So I'm enjoying these. What's up, Beavis? Nice to see you. Beavis always supports my channel. Every video I put out, he's always there. So you guys that do that, I really appreciate it. And I might have to stop to take a breath and get a drink of water. So give me a sec. Okay, so Ryan Powell asked me, did I record my intro song by yourself? That's a good question because I'm surprised I don't get that question more. Where does that song come from? That song is actually my son's band. He was in a band for a couple years, and they recorded an EP that was on iTunes and Amazon. It was like a 5-6 song EP, but that was one of their songs. The song is called Incinerator, and I just chopped out the first little bit of it, and I've been using that as my intro ever since I started this channel. Good question, though, Ryan. Derek Maya, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Let's see what else. What other questions we got? Do I like Hannibal movies? Yeah, of course. Hannibal Lecter is an icon. I think Silence of the Lambs is definitely the best one. And I think there's some bad ones too, like Hannibal Rising's not that good. I just went through all these with Brian Lomax and Bearded Movie Guy and CP. We went through all the Hannibal movies, did commentaries on all of them, everything. So yeah. If you could design a slasher icon, what would it be like? Uh, Weapons Survival 94. Good night. That's a tough question. That's the trick question, isn't it? I mean, if I could come up with that secret ingredient, I think it would have already happened. The 80s was just a lightning in a bottle, I guess you could say. I mean, you had so many icons come out of the 80s, and it's shocking that the 90s we had Ghostface, I mean, that are that upper echelon. So I can't answer that. That's a tough question. Have you been watching Green Arrow show lately? No. I every now and then if something's on CW, I've watched Arrow before, but it's not like something that I gravitate towards completely. Lately, especially lately, I've been into horror constantly. What are your thoughts on the original Fright Night? Oh, the original Fright Night is a classic. One of the best vampire movies out there. I love the main characters in that. Charlie is one of the best. He's a final guy, I guess you could say. But yeah, and you don't see too many movies like that have a final guy. Most of it's a final girl, and I agree with that formula. But Fright Night did it right. Let's see what else we got. Richard Bishop, you're the fucking man. Let's see, Ryan Powell. How do you like the Halloween Blu-ray box set? It's my favorite box set. There it is right there. But yeah, that box set is amazing. 28 people watching. I can't believe this. This is crazy. Durant Cinema, what's up, buddy? I noticed Durant just dropped another Blu-ray trip, so I'll definitely be watching that after this. Why am I so badass? Because of you guys. That's why I'm badass. Favorite genre outside of horror, Mr. Nerdista. I'm a sucker for superhero movies. Good superhero movies. Matter of fact, one of my favorite movies is The Crow. So superhero movies, action movies. I love a good drama. I'm a big David Fincher fan. Anything Fincher puts out, I'm there day one. I've never answered questions this fast in my whole life. Okay, Deadite 04, do you like the Evil Dead movies? Yeah, I love the Evil Dead movies. I got into them pretty late, though, like probably within the last 10 years, but I'm a massive fan of them now. I can't believe I didn't check them out earlier. Have you seen Dress to Kill yet, Derek Mayo? Isn't that with Rebecca Romaine Stamos? Or she's not Stamos anymore, but yeah, I think I saw it when it first came out. I've been meaning to check it out again, though. That's a Brian De Palma movie, though, right? I love Brian De Palma, though. And my question for you is, have you seen Body Double? That's a really good De Palma movie. JMetal797, if you had to choose one horror movie to watch for the rest of your life, what would you choose? Probably Halloween, just because I've seen Halloween a million times, and every time I watch it, it's still just as awesome. Mr. Wayno7, have you seen the first Legion on FX? No, I haven't seen Legion yet. Been planning on it, though. I hear it's really good. Bless you, Jude Harris. Yeah. Cold California, what are your thoughts on the upcoming The Crow remake? Did they get it off the ground? I have no idea, because I know that they were going for Jason, the guy that played Drogo in Game of Thrones. I know he was going to be in it, but I still don't think that thing's going to get off the ground for at least the next couple years. How do you feel about Howling sequels? I've never seen any of the Howling movies. Sean Urshan, another guy that comments on a lot of my videos. What's up, man? Glad you're here. Ryan Powell, what are your favorite bands to do drum covers of? On my channel, I actually have like 3 or 4 Tool drum covers. Maybe 2, maybe 3, something like that. But I love Deftones. If it's a band I love, then I like covering them, if I can cover them. Matter of fact, I was just talking to Tim from Reviewed Later about maybe doing a Muse song. So if you guys like Muse, look out for that, possibly. Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. What's up, Emily? Let's see. She had a question. Do I like stand-up comedy? Yeah, I love stand-up comedy. I used to constantly watch stand-up on HBO. Big Dave Chappelle fan. Oh, that Chappelle show was so good. Let's see. Do you like Buckethead? No, I haven't seen Buckethead yet. There's so many horror franchises, like I guess B-level horror franchises, that I haven't seen yet. So, yeah. Alexandra Vaughn, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. What will be your next drum cover? That's funny. I just mentioned that. Tim and I are actually throwing around some ideas, but I would like to do like a Muse cover or something like that, maybe a Joy Division cover. But I might put it in his court this time. And actually, he chose the Smashing Pumpkins cover, so I think it's my turn, Tim. Let's see what else we got. Weapon Survival 94. What's up, man? if you had to survive one film series, would you rather Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th? Friday the 13th, because I think I got a better chance of getting out of that one. I don't want to be stuck in the dream world with Freddy. That would suck. And I apologize if I'm skipping some of the questions. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. Favorite horror movie genre? Slashers. I love slashers. Mr. Wayne 007. Richard Bishop. Out of all the Halloween movies, which Michael is the most aggressive? Probably the Curse of Michael, I'm guessing. Yes. Curse of Michael that's why I have the curse mask, because I'm such a fan of Halloween 6, and a big reason for that is because of how aggressive he is. Ravenwind 999, what's up? Nice to see you. L.A. Maldonado, have you seen Book of Blood, The Midnight Meat Train by Clive Barker? No, and I've actually been wanting to get into more Clive Barker material out there. I've been wanting to see Nightbreed, so that's probably the next on my list for him. Yes, the Logan Steelbook does look really good. What's your favorite YouTuber with the initial CL? That'd be Cody freaking Leach. So it's CFL. Let's see. I might have to scan up on these questions. What do you think about the upcoming Leatherface movie? Are we ever going to get the upcoming Leatherface movie? Because I'm starting to get scared. That movie is in the can, though, so it surprises me that they won't just put that thing out. Same thing with the Amityville. It might suck, but still, let us have a shot at it, you know? I liked Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, and I know my watch number is going to go down here pretty soon because I said that. Do you genuinely think the next Halloween movie will be scary? Well, that's a really subjective question. I hope so. If you guys have read that Halloween Returns script, it could have been a scary movie. It could have been and the reason it works so well is because of Michael. They made Michael scary again in that. So I'm hoping that they stick with it. Carpenter is kind of behind the scenes on this, so I'm hoping so. Are you going to review the new Alien movie? Oh, hell yeah. Zombie 619 UL. Yeah. Emily's question is, in a zombie apocalypse, would you sooner hole up in a church or grab a boat? I'm going for the church. Definitely going for the church. Because if you're in a boat, I don't know. It could be kind of shaky. Mr. Wayne 007, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Let's see what else. White Tim says, what is the most overrated YouTuber at your opinion with the initial CL? It's not Cody Leach. I'll tell you that right now. David Blumenfeld, what do you think of the idea of rebooting The Crow? I just think it's a bad idea. Will I watch it? Yes, but is it going to be bad? Probably. If CP and Zach were in the Halloween series, who would get it first? Probably CP, because Zach could fight him off with his beautiful hair. Good question, Durant. Tiger Man, laugh out loud. Cold California, have you ever walked out of the theater because of a bad movie? Almost walked out of Halloween Resurrection. I'm sure it's happened before, I just can't remember, but I'm sure I have. Dead-Eyed 04, which modern day horror film series is better, The Conjuring or Insidious? Well, The Conjuring's only got 2 movies, so that's a tough one, but I like both Conjurings, so I'm going to go with The Conjuring. But I do like the Insidious series. Mr. Nerdista, do you read horror literature? Favorite book? I'm very. When I was in school, I used to read Edgar Allan Poe, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest reader. A lot of booktubers have kind of gotten me interested in wanting to read more because there's a lot of great stories out there. I've actually been interested in reading Stephen King's It. So yeah, I need to get off my butt and try to read some books though. Get a little bit smarter. Gore the Movie God, Danny McBride is writing, right? I heard he's really good in Alien, so maybe he'll try hard. Yeah, and from John Carpenter's mouth himself, he said that he read the script and he was completely floored by how good it was. In his words, he said they got it. So yeah, I'm thinking Danny McBride can write. And if you look at the guy who's directing, I forget his name right now. If you look at some of his older material, like the movie Joe, I think he could handle a Halloween movie. Tyler Birdman, what do you think we will get a trailer for the new Halloween movie? They haven't even started pre-production for that thing yet, so I would say hopefully spring of 2018. Mr. Wayne 007, who do you want to direct the Mad Max Fury Road sequel? George Miller, of course. But I'm open to other directors, but I think George Miller has to be the one if possible. Cody Leach, favorite killer in the Scream movies? That'd be Ghostface. Cold California, what is your favorite? Hold on. Man, I can't believe, guys, thank you so much. I can't believe 39 people are actually watching this. This is insane. L.A. Maldano, John Carpenter is awesome. Love his films in Halloween, Christine, and The Mouth of Madness. I haven't seen In the Mouth of Madness. I want to see that one, but Christine's classic. Yes, Tiger Man, and don't forget The Thing. Let me see if I can scan up here. Did you ever see Bone Tomahawk, Mary Whiteside? Yes. One of the most shocking scenes I've ever seen in a horror movie. Talk about jaws of life to remove this thing from your skull. But yeah, Bone Tomahawk, excellent film. I loved Kurt Russell in that. Fixer Ace says, it's a huge read. Start with The Dead Zone. It's my favorite King novel. Yeah, Stephen King's got so many great books out there, and I think that'd be a good place for a beginning horror reader to start. Joe Combs says, do you have a favorite horror video game? Actually, I'm not a video game guy. So I played Nintendo back when I was in high school and all that, but and I think it's time. I just haven't had time to really play video games. Being married with 2 kids, it does take a lot of your time. So, Geek Keenan, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. Deadite04 says, what's the best horror movie remake of all time? That's a tough one, but well, The Thing, if you take The Thing out of it, then probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is one of the best. I love the Evil Dead remake. I think it's very underrated. That's probably one of my favorites. Last House on the Left, another great remake. So there are some good remakes out there, guys. Let's see what else we got. Thing video game. Oh, whoa. Gotta go back. Derek Mayo says, have you ever listened to those scary story channels on YouTube? Actually, a good friend of mine, he has a channel. I'll think of it in a minute, but he started out doing movie reviews, and it wasn't really working for him, so he switched over to doing scary ghost stories. And his channel has, like, I think, last I checked, his channel had like 12,000 subscribers, probably a lot more by now. So that's just a testament to you guys. If you're trying YouTube and something's not working for you, maybe try something different. It's not a bad idea. Green Arrow says, if you were cast in a Halloween movie or a Jason movie or a Nightmare movie, do you think you would survive through the movie? Nope. I'd be dead. Cody Leach. I'm sorry. I did say Ghostface. Well, I guess if we're going to spoil it, definitely the first. I'm just going to say the killers from the first movie. I think they nailed it. But I did like the killers from the fourth movie too. So, yeah. I'm skipping past a lot of questions. Hold on, let me see if I can get back on track here. Jude Harris says, it's like we're all in the room listening to a very nice man talk about movies. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. Maybe if I click, I wonder if I can go down yeah, okay. I swear I must be a computer illiterate because this whole time all I had to do is just hit the down button. All right. What movie? Mike Johnston, what movie do you think is scarier, Jeepers Creepers or Jeepers Creepers 2? Haven't seen the second one yet, so I'm going to go with the first one, but I'm looking forward to seeing the second one. Who do you think would win in a battle between Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees? Boy, that's the question, isn't it? It depends on which Michael and which Jason you're talking about. But I would like to see the Michael from 6 and the Jason from 6. I'd like to see those two go at it. That'd be a good match. As a matter of fact, I was talking to CP the other day. We were talking about, it's funny how a lot of horror franchises, part 6s tend to be really good movies. Not always, but like Chucky, part 6 is good. Halloween, part 6, my opinion, is good. Friday, part 6 is excellent. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Zombie 619, have you seen the Dolls movie? No, I have not. I've been wanting to see it though. Cold California, who is on your shirt? That is Snake Plissken, baby. All right. Yeah, White Tim. FYE, we have a FYE too, and I love that store. A lot of great Funkos in there. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. What's up, Justin? Metal Horror Pack says, did you ever see a Nightmare Man yet? No, I have not. Any good? Let me know. Henry Tweet, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Mr. Nerdista, favorite video you've made since starting on YouTube? Good boy, that's a tough one. You know, because I'm pretty proud of that Prometheus review that I just put out, and I'm not trying to say that to get plugs or anything, but I try to, and I'm sure you do this as well, Aguiar, but I try to up myself with every video. I always look back at my last video and say, what could I have done to maybe make that better? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I was pretty proud of the Prometheus video, and it makes me look forward to doing the Alien Resurrection review. So that's a good one. I do like my review for the first Crow because there's a lot of personal touches, I guess, to that review. So I like that one too. What's your favorite, Aguiar? I'd like to know that myself, actually. What is your favorite performance in an action movie? David Blumenfeld. I grew up on Stallone and Schwarzenegger movies. I love the Rambo movies. Probably Predator, though. That last third act in Predator with Schwarzenegger going at it against the Predator, you try to top that. You can't. It's so good because of the emotion in it. It's not about the movements in the fight and all that. There's a lot of emotion in that last third act, and I think Durant could probably back me up on that one. Oh, so Z Killer. I'll just call you Z Killer, but he says his name is actually Merked but short. Laugh out loud. No worries. Cool. So your name is Merked. All right, cool. I'll go with that then. Green Arrow says, are you planning on doing any more Funko videos in the future? Yeah, sure. I've slowed down on my collecting of Funkos, though. I kind of went through a phase there, and now I don't just buy any Funko. And really, I wanted to collect as many horror Funkos as I could, and I think I got most of what I want. So I will do another video, but usually I do it like every 5 Funkos I get. So yes, it might be a while before I do another one, though. But we'll see. Could happen. Yes, Henry Tweet, Durant Cinema is alive. Alien did not come out of his chest. Tyler Birdman says, do you watch Fast and Furious movies? Yeah, but I didn't see this last one. I don't know why. I just wasn't in the mood. But I really wanted to see the last one because of Paul Walker. But I'll probably check this new one out when it comes on video. Mr. Nerdy says, I totally feel the same way about upping yourself. Your Alien review was fantastic, and I'll be watching that Prometheus video after this. It's in my watch later. My favorite is Rashomon. Ooh, I'll have to check that one out. Thank you. And I don't think I've seen Rashomon, but I've heard it's a pretty phenomenal film. So, yeah. Derek Mayu, what's your least favorite horror movie of all time? That's probably Crow Wicked Prayer. Even though I can watch that and laugh at it, so I guess if it's a movie that I just can't stand to watch, then that would probably be. And a lot of those movies I avoid like the plague, like The Bye Bye Man. I avoided that one because I have no desire to see it. Like really pissed you off so bad. Pulse would probably be a good one. Blair Witch is kind of it's a classic, and it kind of created the genre, but it's not something that you can just throw in. So I kind of agree with you on that. Henry Tweet, are you excited for Edgar Wright's Baby Driver? Hell yeah, I love Edgar Wright. So far, he hasn't let me down. Every movie that he does is great, and he's one of those directors on that short list that I will go to sight unseen. Yeah, he's a fantastic director. Deekster Bogard says, if you could create a horror versus Movie, who would the villains be? Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably watch that Michael versus Pinhead movie. I'd love to see Chucky go at it with somebody, like anybody really, just to have Chucky mix it up with another horror icon would be great. I think you guys would love that too. Chucky, I just went through the Chucky series and he's so awesome. Jake Percy says, "What's your favorite song by Tool?" Ooh, that's a good question. I love Schism. That's a great one. I love Third Eye. Um, Lateralis is a great song. Oh, there's so many good songs by Tool. What else we got? Which Michael Myers mask is your favorite? Ricky99LA. What's up, Ricky? It's this one right here. Halloween 6. Love that mask. What else we got? Johnny Flame, would you ever review horror video games? There's been a lot coming out recently. Probably not, just because I haven't had the time to really. I know it takes a lot of time to invest into a video game. I mean, these things can take hours, days, weeks, and you got to love it, really love it to get involved in. And I know there's a lot of great gamer fanatics out there, but if I'm being honest, not anytime soon. Green Arrow, what do you think of the Defenders? That trailer looks really interesting. I'm hoping, a lot of those games, they've put out a lot of trailers, great trailers for some of these Netflix superhero shows, Marvel shows, and then the show itself wasn't that great. So I'm a bit cautious, but yeah, I'll still definitely watch it. So who's saying the FYE is closed? Because mine's open, so I don't know if they're closing nationwide. I haven't seen any signs on mine, and I hope not, because that's really the only outlet I have for pop culture entertainment outside of the big brick and mortar stores. Tyler Birdman says, "Are you surprised the new Alien movie is getting good reviews?" No, I mean the trailer itself looks really interesting. And if you're springboarding off of Prometheus, which offered a lot of new ideas, then I think there's a good cake to be baked in there. So I'm not surprised. I'll definitely be there. And Tim from Review Later actually brought up a good point. There's 3 different types of Alien fans. There's the people that aren't Alien fans at all. There's people that only like Alien and Aliens, the first 2, and then there's people that just love all things Alien. So I think it depends on what type of fan you are when you go into that movie. Because I know that there are some negative reviews that are saying it's like the same old Alien movie, but I can enjoy a movie like that. So we'll see, though. I'm still going in really excited. Let me go back up here. I'm skipping a lot for some reason. Okay, let me go back down. Chucky versus Leprechaun. Yeah, I'd watch that. Z Killer says, okay, you can call me Isaiah if you want. I'm the Killer Flicks group on Facebook. You liked my Jason Takes the Kardashians picture. I don't see why I wouldn't like that picture. So, Isaiah. Okay, cool. Code California says, "Have you ever visited Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios?" No, but I almost went last year, but I didn't get the chance. I've heard the lines are just god-awful at those things. So if they could fix that line problem, then I'd probably be right there. But I'd like to go, especially if they're doing like Halloween. I would love to see that. I've actually been to the actual Halloween house in Pasadena, California, which was awesome. So, Geek Keenan, thoughts on The Witch? I was just watching Split right before I did this. And Anya Taylor-Joy is so great in that, and it made me think about her performance in The Witch. She's easily my favorite part of that movie, and it's one of those, like, I watched it again, I think back in October, and I loved it even more. It's one of those movies that keeps on giving. So yeah, I love The Witch. I'm gonna get a drink of water, guys. Hold on just a second. Wow, we've been going for 30 minutes and it feels like it's been 5. I might do my Q&As like this from now on, instead of you guys submitting your questions and then I record a video that's like an hour long and then I spend a week editing it. I could just do this and it'll be over, and I love it. Okay. Riddler Toast says, what are your opinions on Saw movies? I recently binged them, and besides Saw 7, I love them. It's funny that you meant that, because I was actually thinking about binging the Saw series. I've seen them all once, except for the first one. I've seen the first one a few times, but it's hard for me to give you an answer to that because I don't remember. Because a lot of the Saw movies, they just kind of bleed into each other, you know. So if you told me something that happened in Saw 3, I would think it happened in Saw 5. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. So I get confused by the Saw series. So I definitely want to go back and watch it. But I did get that collection for like $15 at Best Buy, which was a good deal. Best Deadite 04, best vampire movie, Fright Night or From Dusk Till Dawn. I got to go with Fright Night. I love From Dusk Till Dawn, but to me, Fright Night just it doesn't even hold a candle. So yeah, that's my answer for that. And I love that you guys have a nice conversation going in there too. That's cool. I like that. Tyler Birdman, yes, Split is better, and I loved it the first time, but this time, wow, that third act is so good, so good. I had chill bumps the whole time. So that actually might move up my 2007 list. And I know some of you are going to say, hey, wait, that came out in 2016. I don't care. Okay, favorite Universal Classic monster. Frankenstein. Got to go with Frankenstein, but also number 2 would be The Mummy. And that's kind of the route that I was wanting them to go for the Mummy remake, instead of the the Mummy Impossible, which is what they're doing. So, Cody Leach. No, I have not watched. I got my Phantasm box set right up there, but I haven't watched any of the movies yet. I plan on it though. I have like 4 or 5 different movies in front of me right now that I'm thinking about watching. Definitely, the Killer Robots movie. Where's it at? Oh, yeah, Chopping Mall. That's definitely on my list to watch real soon. Phantasm. Hellraiser 4. Really looking forward to watching that one because I've never seen that one. So, never seen any of those actually. Exactly, Mr. Nerdista. Aguiar. I'm just going to call you Aguiar. Less time editing is always a good thing. We know what that's. And just a question for you: how long does it usually take you to do those video essays? I can imagine probably a week. Tom Cruise, Mummy Impossible, please, son. I'm telling you, man, that's what it is. It looks like it's going to be Mummy Impossible. Attila Khan says, did you know David Fincher directed Madonna's Vogue? Did you also know that David Fincher directed Perfect Circle, Judith? Because David Fincher's directed hundreds of music videos before he got into directing feature films. No problem, Rob. No problem. Sean Urshan says, do you think the Halloween series should end with an epic final battle ending in Michael's death? Well, they kind of did that with H2O, and then they completely shit on it. But I mean, I think that's what they were going for, even though they knew that they were going to do Resurrection anyway. So, I don't want Michael to ever die, if I'm being honest, because I really don't want him remade over and over. So keep him alive. That's what I say. Upload every 2 weeks, so it usually takes a week to research and script, and then final week is spent editing. Yeah, when CP and I do our Horror Needs a Hero, that's a process. We've spent like 2 weeks on one video before doing those. So, but the sense of completion when you're done is pretty awesome. Ricky99 says, have you ever been to California? Yeah, I actually went there back in 2010, and I went to Pasadena, and I visited the Myers house and the Bush and the department store and all that stuff. So, yeah, I actually have been there. Mike Johnson says, do you think Jane Levy could turn out to be a legendary scream queen? I thought she was amazing in Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe. Yes, she's one of those actresses. If she's doing horror, I'm there day one. She's that good of an actress. So Buffy versus Michael, Sarah Michelle Gellar in a Myers movie. That'd be good. I'd watch that. If she played Buffy, yeah, that'd be awesome. If that's what you're talking about, yeah. Do you think Terminator 3 deserves the hate that it gets? I don't think it deserves hate. It's just, when you follow Terminator 2, that's a tall order, but I can still enjoy it. All right, got a little argument going on about Mummy Impossible. Sweet, carry on, guys, carry on. Jake Percy says, my favorite Halloween or Hellraiser sequel is either Hellworld or Hellbound. What's the worst Hellraiser movie, guys? Let me know. I just rewatched H2O. I think they flat out showed it wasn't Michael at the end. Yeah, if you watch Resurrection, then you go back. You can see that it wasn't. So, I can't argue with that one, White Tim. Where did you get that Michael Myers mask behind you? I ordered it online. I want to say I ordered it from eBay, if I remember correctly. But Trick or Treat Studios, look them up on Google. They're the ones that do this mask, and they do a Halloween 2 mask as well, and those are the ones you want. What are your thoughts on the Final Destination series? I love the Final Destination series. As a matter of fact, it's one of my franchises that I'm kind of eager to get to review-wise, because they're just such a fun series, and I think you can have a lot of fun reviewing movies like that because you can talk about all the kills, and I love talking about kills in my reviews. So, Code California, have you ever attended a horror expo? No, I almost went back in October. I was going to go to Spooky Empire, and I was actually going to interview Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare 4 and 5, but then there was a hurricane that came and canceled the whole thing. So, but I'm still in contact with Lisa Wilcox. She said I could actually do a Skype interview if I ever want, but I'd like to do it in person, so I'm kind of holding out. Thank you, Jake Percy. Revelations. I'll keep that in mind. Derek Mino says, my favorite Hellraiser was Hell on Earth Part 3. That one's a fun one. It wasn't as good as I remembered the last time I watched it, but there's still some fun to be had. There's some interesting characters, like JP, complete douchebag, but it's fun to... Like, JP is a fun character to watch, whereas Trent from the Friday remake, I could not wait for him to get off my screen. See, you can have two, like, douchebag characters, but some are good and some are bad. So, yeah. Thanks, Ricky. I'm glad you were here. Have a good day at class. Ash from Evil Dead versus the Cenobites. Who would win? I'm sorry, Cenobites would take care of business on that one, I think. What's your opinion on Hollywood military movies? Are some of them accurate or exaggerated for Hollywood? Yeah, there's some good ones. You guys are gonna. It's funny that I say this, but from being in the military, but I'm not the biggest military movie fan, to be honest. And I think that's why, and I know Tom Cruise is going to get on to me, but I think that's why I've avoided a lot of current military movies, because I'm just so picky with them. And Platoon is one of my favorites. Saving Private Ryan, those are pretty damn accurate. And if you want to see what basic training is like, watch Full Metal Jacket. The first part of Full Metal Jacket is dead on, like eerily dead on. So yeah, I do not think Hellraiser is a little overrated. Fixer Ace, the first Hellraiser is a freaking classic. Henry Tweet, what's your best theater experience ever? Rocky 4 was a great theater experience. Halloween 4, that's funny, the 4s, but Halloween 4 was one of my greatest theater experiences because it made me the Halloween fan that I am. I was 15, saw it in the theater opening night. Those two really stick out. Terminator 2 was a pretty cool one. I actually sat in the very front row, and the screen was probably as close as my face is to my laptop screen right now. That's how close, and I still enjoy Terminator 2. I mean, it was just that packed. L.A. Maldonado saw Heather Langenkamp at Spooky Empire. I would love to meet Heather Langenkamp. She is definitely a Scream queen. And speaking of Scream queens, CP and I actually are working on a Vixens, where we're going to be talking about Scream queens. And we're going to have a special guest, Horror Gal Susan, on that episode. So look for that in the next probably couple weeks, something like that. Trent was in Transformers 2. And they say they share the same universe. So maybe he was the same character. Jake Percy, what's your opinion on Rob Zombie? If you watch the last episode of Scream Stream, we talk about Rob Zombie for a good hour. And you can get a good idea of what I think of Rob Zombie. I'm in the middle. I love Devil's Rejects. I love House of 1,000 Corpses. I love Halloween 2. But I could do without 31, and I could do without Lords of Salem. Although I haven't finished Lords of Salem. I just could not get into it. A lot of good conversation going on in the chat. Yeah, really good. I'm going to take another drink of water, guys. I just saw a commercial for Bye Bye Man, and it just, you know what? I don't like horror movies that use CGI. I'm not, and can CGI be used effectively in horror movies? Yes, but the trailer alone tells me that that's going to be a horrible movie. Just because they had like Trinity from The Matrix, and she had like this computer CGI effect in her eyes, and it just looks so fake. I hate that. Where would you rank Sam Raimi in a list of masters of horror? Really high or up or no? Definitely. What he did with those Evil Dead movies, I think, is great, and I think that puts him up there pretty high. So yeah, I mean, he has some really clever tricks up his sleeve, directing wise, and even to this day, the Evil Dead movies, they do have a certain panache about them, and I think you wouldn't have that if you didn't have Sam Raimi. So, Isaiah likes Bye Bye Man. Well, I can't argue with it. I haven't seen it, so maybe it is pretty decent. Maybe I'm wrong. Yes, I used to watch the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV series, actually. My wife is a big fan of the show, and we went through the whole thing a few years ago. So, yeah. If you could own any movie prop, what would it be? Ooh, that's a good one. Probably the original Myers mask, even though I know it's probably completely decayed now. That would be like the holy grail of movie memorabilia. First horror movie you've ever seen? Mine was Friday the 13th, 1980, when I was 3. Mine was Friday the 13th, Part 3, when I was 10 years old. Thoughts on A Perfect Circle, A Stranger. Beautiful song. So glad you brought that up. And Justin, do you listen to Pucifer? That's Maynard's other band, and they do have some songs that sound like A Perfect Circle. So definitely check out Pucifer, especially their latest album. But A Stranger's great. Really great song. TV shows and movies are live. Can we ask any questions? Of course you can. Go ahead, please. Have you ever seen The Green Inferno? If yes, what did you think? I didn't. I'm not a huge Eli Roth fan. I saw the Hostel movies, or at least the first one, and there's something there, but I just couldn't. I'm not really a big fan of torture porn, though, so I have not watched The Green Inferno. Will I watch it one day? Maybe. If it's on TV or something, I might check it out. But yeah. I have seen every Friday the 13th movie in the theater. Derek, you're lucky. I only saw parts 7 and on. And then, yeah, so anything before 7 I didn't see in the theater. What movie made you really fall in love with movies? I could answer that in so many different ways. Goodfellas is a good one. The Crow probably is the one that really got me, because before that there weren't too many movies like The Crow. The Batman was probably the closest, but The Crow really just it knocked the wind out of me. It was so good, and it really made me appreciate cinematography and gothic characters, and the story itself was just so interesting. I loved the soundtrack. I think it just made me realize all these different things come together and can make almost a perfect film, if there's such a thing. But yeah, The Crow was really one of the movies that really got me. Goodfellas is another one though. Goodfellas was phenomenal. Like, that one really hit me over the head, especially the part where he's making the pasta and then he's got to get his babysitter to get her lucky hat, and so good, so good. All right. Mike Johnson says, sorry, Cold California, have you ever played in a band? Yes, I've actually been in 3 different bands over the last 20-something years. When I first joined the military, I got into a band almost immediately. Then when I was in Korea back in 2003, I was in a band. And I was in a band when I was in Japan. So, yeah, I've been in quite a few bands, actually. Mike Johnson says, why do you love horror movies? I will admit it's kind of an escape for me personally. I am relaxed when I watch horror, as weird as that sounds. I mean, you pretty much summed it up there. For some reason, horror hits me on another level than other genres do. I don't know. There's something about it, especially it's just fun to me, especially like slasher movies. I like it's the biggest sense of escape, more than any other genre. So, and I think I'm always chasing another scare, even though I don't get scared by movies anymore. I'm always chasing that scare, and you can't really chase anything with other genres like you can horror. So I'm chasing the scare. That's the answer. Do you watch any DC shows right now? No. I haven't watched. It's funny. I'm a DC guy. Oh, I like Marvel, but I'm a DC guy. But yet, I don't really watch any of the TV shows like Gotham. But yeah, I guess that's the short answer. I haven't. Have you seen the House of Cards on Netflix? Kevin Spacey is outstanding. Yes, I have. I've seen every season. I love the first season and I love the last season. Great show. Kevin Spacey is the man. As a matter of fact, I had a dream about Kevin Spacey the other night. He narrated before I uploaded my Prometheus review, I dreamt that Kevin Spacey actually narrated my Prometheus review, but I couldn't get him to do that. So instead you hear my crappy voice in the video, but it's funny you bring up Kevin Spacey. And that's as far as that dream went, I promise. Okay. Have you ever seen Lucio Fulci's film Zombie? No, but it's actually on my Shudder playlist. So that's one that I've always wanted to, because I know that's considered a big classic zombie film. So yeah. Do you like the Purge movies? I think the Purge is a great idea, but I never think it's executed, properly. There's always something about those movies that, like the first movie had the right idea. Keep it isolated. Keep it in a house. But I think the kids really kind of ruined that movie for me. I think if you would have got creepier killers, if they would have combined the strangers with the idea of the Purge, it could have been flawless. Could have been great. Favorite MCU movie? I know you guys are going to kill me for this, but my favorite MCU movie is The Incredible Hulk. And I think part of that is because The Incredible Hulk it's very different in feel than the rest of the MCU movies. Like, especially the most recent ones, I'd say the last 10 MCU movies, they all kind of feel the same. You know, there's like a similar vibe, and I know that's intentional. But the Incredible Hulk and Iron Man, they had a different vibe going. And the Incredible Hulk, it was darker. They didn't really make fun of the Hulk in that movie. They explored his, Bruce Banner, and I thought Edward Norton did such a great job with playing Bruce Banner. So that's my favorite MCU movie. That emotional touch has not been touched, I guess, since. Civil War is probably the closest. Civil War is probably my second favorite. The Sixth Sense is my favorite paranormal movie of all time because it was the first movie I saw in the theater. Did you see it in the theater? Yeah. And The Sixth Sense, when it came out, it was one of these like cultural phenomenons, kind of like Titanic. Everybody was talking about it, and it was just massive. And I've always been interested in cultural phenomenons because they only come along like every 5 years. Like the Dark Knight is a perfect example of that. That was a cultural phenomenon. But Sixth Sense was phenomenal. I just said I just watched Split, but I feel like Shyamalan's back with Split. If he can maintain that momentum and stay with horror, then he'll be okay. Have you ever seen the Tremors movies? I think I saw the first one, and is that the one with Kevin Bacon? I really could not get into it. It was a little bit too silly, so yeah. Johnny Flame says, do you think the slasher genre is dead? If so, do you think it will ever be revived? It's not dead, but it's on life support. That's my thoughts on the slasher genre at this point. Will it ever be revived? I think it will. I think we'll have another Scream sometime down the line. But there needs to be a movie to come along and just really kick everybody in the nuts. That's what Scream did, and I'm hoping it happens again soon. Tyler Birdman, I agree. They do seem to be getting lighter and lighter, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it just did not connect with me. I think they were trying a little bit too hard with the humor, and then they didn't leave it in anything else besides that humor. And that's my opinion on it. I know some of you guys loved the latest Guardians, and I'll give it a second chance, but it just felt like more of the same and more of the same. So, yeah. Yes, I saw a picture floating around about Dick Warlock having the original Myers mask, and it looks like it's been through hell. But yeah, that was an interesting pick. It almost doesn't even look like the mask anymore. Drew Jackson, I'm glad you're off work. Oh, hold on, my phone's ringing. That's what my phone ringtone sounds like, guys. Now, can you guys tell me what song that was that my phone ringtone was? If you can, I will give you a prize somehow. So, yeah. How do you feel the Hugh Jackman is leaving X-Men? It's so hard that Hugh Jackman is leaving the X-Men franchise. Yeah, but I am curious to see a new Wolverine, see who they pick. And I don't think it'll be Tom Hardy like everybody thinks. I think they're going to go with somebody that nobody's ever heard of, kind of like what they did with Hugh Jackman. I loved Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I think it's time to move on just because he's done the character a million times. But Logan was such a great send-off. So how do you top that? What type of big YouTubers do you watch? We watched a movie. They were probably one of my biggest influences when I started my channel. And they're the ones that I still watch. I really don't watch. I watch Flick Pick still sometimes. He's really entertaining. And those are probably the only two big ones that I watch right now. And of course I watch a lot of I watch a lot of channels that are actually at my level. Like I watch Lindsay's channel, that horror. I watch Durant Cinema, Reviewed Later, Will I Like It Reviews. I don't know if it's like a subconscious thing, but I actually enjoyed their content more than I do like the big guns. So yeah. Some of my favorite shows, Breaking Bad is one of my favorite shows, Game of Thrones, a cliche answer, I know. But yeah, those are like the two big ones. That is not Bruce Springsteen. I'll tell you guys at the end of this. Wow, I can't believe we've almost been going an hour. So, no, it was not Schism. That was not a Tool song. I'm looking forward to the new Halloween movie too, Mike Johnston. I can't wait. I'm hoping it doesn't fall through like it has fallen through so many times. My first big video on YouTube was a Halloween update that I made back in February of 2015, and we still don't have a Halloween movie even in pre-production yet. So, yeah. Yeah, I think they should continue with X-23 too, Gore. That would be really interesting. And I think they should stick with the same actress too. She was great. Johnny Flame, what horror movie had the best movie poster in your opinion? Probably Return of the Living Dead. That's a great poster. Tyshawn says, will you stick around for Scream Season 3? Yeah, I'll probably watch it out of curiosity. And if I'm not into like the first couple episodes, then I'll probably leave it. But I'm still kind of burnt from what they did, just because I was a big fan of that storyline that they were going with Season 1 and Season 2. So, yeah. If you could rewrite the third act in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, what would you change? I loved Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and I liked the third act, so I wouldn't change a thing. I know a lot of people hate Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, but I thought he ended it perfectly in the theatrical cut. I'm a fan of the theatrical cut. Not as much the director's cut ending, even though I like the rest of the director's cut better. I don't think you should have Myers talk. That's my biggest problem. So if I could change anything, I would change that. Don't have Myers talk, which he didn't in the theatrical cut. Have you ever seen any cartoons? Yeah, I grew up on cartoons. When I was a kid, every Saturday morning, me and my sister would be watching cartoons. And I grew up watching like The Little Rascals, which isn't a cartoon, but yeah. So yeah, I loved cartoons. I agree with that, Gore. Maybe that's what it is. You feel like you're listening to a friend talk about a movie than, somebody that's like way up there. I don't know, maybe it's just more relatable. How excited are you about Superman in the Justice League movies? That's the number one thing I'm looking forward to in Justice League. I want to see what they do with Superman because I'm a big, big Superman fan. Grew up with Superman. First movie I saw in the theater was Superman 2. So, yeah. The videos with your daughter were awesome. Hopefully you'll do more. Yeah, Jesse and I are planning on doing more videos together. Like every time she comes home, we're going to plan another video. So probably Fight Club because that's her favorite movie. And we've been planning doing a Fight Club review together for the longest time. So look for that. Not anytime soon because it'll be a while before she gets home. But yeah, when she's home, then we'll be doing Fight Club. What's your opinion on Bates Motel and how it ended? Loved it. I thought it ended beautifully. What a great show. And guys, if you haven't watched Bates Motel, stay with it. The first 2 seasons are good. They're not great. But then season 3 and on, phenomenal TV. So, yeah, loved the ending of Bates Motel though. Yes, I'm very excited for the new Halloween movie. Thank you. Have you ever seen South Park? Ooh, boy, I'm glad you asked. South Park, there's 2 types of people in this world. There's South Park people, and then there are Family Guy people. I'm a South Park guy. I am obsessed with South Park. I love it to death. I think those guys are constantly creating amazing content. I love South Park to bits. Thank you, King 7. Yes, that I love my Myers mask. That's a good point, Beavis. And I can't fault those guys for not talking to their subs. I guess when you're at that level, it's probably hard to do that. But that is probably one of the best things I like about being on YouTube is actually talking to you guys. I don't. It's hard for me to think that I would ever give that up. So yeah. Gore, I'm curious about the new Friday the 13th game, but I probably won't jump right out to play it. But it would be cool to play as Jason or a victim of Jason. That'd be kind of fun. Most controversial movie in your opinion? Stig, what's up, man? How you doing? Probably Antichrist. That's probably the most. I'm sure there's a better answer than that, but Antichrist was pretty shocking. I've heard a Serbian film is really shocking. I've never seen that one, so yeah. Cannibal Holocaust. I've heard that one's really shocking. I don't like seek out shocking movies. To me, it's about substance. If it's good, then I'll go watch it. But I'm not in it for the shock value. Are you gonna do videos with your wife and son soon? Probably not. They know that they're always invited, but they're not the type of people to want to get behind the camera. So, but anything's possible. Do you like Children of the Corn films? I love the first one. The first one's a classic. I've never bothered watching the rest. What's your favorite South Park episode? Oh boy, that's a tough one. I like the one where anything with Randy in it is gold to me. Like when Randy was Lord, that whole storyline is just great. During your teen years, did you watch horror movies in the theater with a group of friends? It's not really a group of friends. I went and seen Halloween 4. I think I went and seen that by myself, actually. That's kind of sad. But, yeah. Just because it's hard to find, like, groups of horror friends, you know? Thank God for the internet because, you know, it's horror's kind of a looked down upon genre, I guess. I don't know what it is, but, yeah. Would you ever open a P.O. box, Johnny Flame? I've thought about doing that, actually. I'm looking into it. I might actually do that because I've been getting some VHS packages, which is nice. So, yeah, I would definitely consider that. What do you think of the 2013 Carrie remake? I liked it. I didn't love it, but it's one I could definitely watch again. Like, there's some great stuff in there. I thought Chloe Grace Moretz did a good job, but I don't think it holds a candle to the original. But also Chloe's mother in the movie was also amazing. She was in Boogie Nights too. Her name slips me right now, but a great actress. Oh, you met Nick Castle? That must have been awesome. I would love to meet Nick Castle. Would you like to see a serious take on Friday the 13th without all the silly humor? I think the Part 4 was pretty serious. Well, I guess you did have some silly characters in there, but and the remake actually had some serious tones to it. But I think you need a little bit of that campiness, no pun intended, in Friday movies. I think that's part of the fun of it. You know, I don't think you want a Friday movie to be like the remake could have been perfect because they made Jason serious. You should never make fun of Jason. If you keep Jason scary and serious, then I think it works. And you can have lighter characters as long as Jason is never made fun of. And they did that in the remake, but they went a little bit too far with the characters, and a lot too far in some cases. What's your favorite foreign film, and do you see many? Many's a strong word, but I am getting into Asian cinema now. My favorite one, not Asian, of course, is Let the Right One In. High Tension is another one of my favorites. What's the movie that just came out? Train to Busan is really good. The Wailing, those two are phenomenal. So yeah, I'm starting to get more into foreign horror. So yeah. I saw the remake of Halloween by myself. Same with the remakes of When a Stranger Calls. Yeah, I've seen a lot of horror movies by myself, actually. Julianne Moore, thank you very much, Beavis. Julianne Moore is a really great actress. What do you want to see in the new Halloween film? I would like to see elements of Halloween Returns. How they made Michael so creepy, and they got him back to, like, that's the creepiest Michael's probably been since Halloween 6. So I want them to take some of the elements from that script and then I don't know. That's a really good script. So it's a hard question to answer because that Halloween Returns script kind of nails everything. I don't know if I like him on death row, but the scene with him in the electric chair makes that premise work. So I think you can make any premise work as long as the story's told, right. Lee, have you seen Misery? As a matter of fact, I saw Misery twice in the theater. It was so good. Misery is a great example of a horror movie where you don't need that much blood and it could still be really creepy and really scary. And Misery did it perfectly. Yes, Train to Busan was freaking amazing. Today is new release day. Yeah, and I bought Split today. So I guess I did buy something, even though Split didn't come out today. 50 Shades Darker came out today, and no way in hell I'm ever buying that crap. So, if you could remake any Freddy Myers or Jason film, which would you pick? That's a tough. I mean, probably Myers, just because I'm such a Halloween fan, but I don't want a remake. I'm glad they're going the sequel direction. I actually enjoyed the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I'd like to see a sequel to that. I'd like to see Jackie Earle Haley be Freddy again and see where they could take that story. Yeah. Your three favorite South Park characters. Definitely Randy is my number one. Cartman's my number two. And Mr. Garrison. Mr. Garrison's my number three. I do like American Horror Story. It's okay. Some of the seasons are good. Some of them are not so good. So, yeah. Thank you, Underdog 1026. Get Out actually came out. Did Get Out come out today? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did come out today. I thought that came out a couple weeks ago. Have you ever seen Cape Fear? Yes. The remake with Robert De Niro. Wow. Robert De Niro's performance in Cape Fear. Whew. If you're looking to get into acting, just go ahead and study his performance in that movie because he is phenomenal. That is a great one. Lindsay says, have you ever seen Soaked in Bleach? What are your thoughts on it? Believer or no? Is that the one about the conspiracy with Kurt Cobain being killed by Courtney Love? I don't know. It's such a tough, I mean, if I found out that there was foul play, I probably wouldn't be surprised based on all the evidence that was presented in that documentary. So it's hard to tell. And plus they say that he had so much heroin in his system that it would have been impossible for him to actually fire a weapon. So I don't know. I mean, it isn't. I love documentaries anyway, and there's so many of them about Kurt Cobain, and I watch all of them. And that one is one of the better ones, though. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Lindsay. I have never seen the original Japanese Ring. I have been curious about that one. I heard it's really freaky. So Japanese filmmakers know how to scare an audience. They really do. Anonymous person says top 5 acting performances in horror. Ooh, man, that's a tough one. Just off the top of my head, like Jane Levy does a great job. She was really great in the Evil Dead remake, I thought. Number one's I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Jack Nicholson, The Shining. How do you top that? And I'm drawing a blank with the rest of them. There's so many good performances in horror. The Exorcist has some great performances in it. Linda Blair was great, even though she's not in all of those performances. But Scout Taylor Compton in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I thought did a great job. Very underrated. So yeah, that's some of them. Yeah, Lindsay, I would not be surprised if Courtney Love was behind it. At the time too, she herself was really strung out on a lot of drugs, and I know the private investigators did not trust her as far as they could throw her. So yeah, John Bernthal is a great Punisher. Excellent Punisher, and I would love to see a John Bernthal Punisher movie. I would definitely be down for that. Freddie looked like Steve Nash from the remake. I'll have to look up Steve Nash and see. I don't. They were going for a more accurate burn victim look, which was kind of cool. And I like that. Matter of fact, I saw an article about this today, and or somebody posted it on Killer Flicks actually, about if you're an actor and you're gonna fill in the shoes of Robert Englund or any of these horror icons, you're always gonna be chastised and thought the worst of. And really, Jackie Earle Haley didn't have a chance when you're filling in the shoes of Robert Englund. So do you want to copy that performance? No, you want to try to create something yourself, and that's what he did. And people just, they weren't ready to let go of Robert Englund, I think, but I was able to separate that. So yeah, Loomis is another. How would you ever step into a Loomis character? Malcolm McDowell, he did the best he could. He never saw Donald Pleasance's performance, I believe. And when you watch the two back to back, it's no question Donald Pleasance is Loomis, and it's hard to separate that. You can't beat that performance because he became the character. Good night, Jake Percy. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. South Park movie was good, but I like a lot of the episodes actually better. So it was okay though. It had some funny moments, and I like the Saddam Hussein type stuff. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mike Johnston. Yeah, great performance by Scout Taylor Compton in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Excellent job. The scene, and Daniel Harris actually, the scene where, spoiler alert, where Daniel Harris dies, and Brad Dourif, yeah, her father, man. And I stood in front of that house too, by the way, guys. Look at my Halloween 2 Revisited review. I'm literally standing in front of that house during one part of that video, but yeah, that performance was so good, so good. American Sniper was okay. It for me, it was kind of a one-time watch. Like I don't know. I thought it was kind of boring too at some parts. Because I thought it was repetitive. Because he'd go overseas and then he'd come back, and then he'd go and then he'd come back, and then he'd go and then he'd come back. So that was one of my first reviews too, actually, and I was nervous. I did a horrible job, but basically what I was trying to get across in that review is that I thought it was repetitive. It could have been a better movie, I think. Oh, thank you, Aguiar. I appreciate that, man. I was nervous at first, but now I'm having a good time chatting with you guys. I can't believe it's almost been an hour and a half. It's insane. He isn't human. I could quote Loomis all day. He's just such a fun character. I have not seen Hell Night, Derek Mayo. I need to watch that. Any good? Throw some horror movies that are like unheard of, or especially slashers, in the chat. And give me some ideas. I love watching 80s slashers, 70s slashers, whatever. Tyler Birdman, how could you not be excited for Blade Runner 2049? Did you like the original Blade Runner? That trailer looks amazing. Ryan, the cinematography looks gorgeous. Denis Villeneuve is directing it. Let me ask you this, Tyler. Did you like Arrival? I'm waiting. Okay. What else we got? Yeah, but the Blade Runner trailer looks really good. Was not that impressed by the new It trailer, even though I think that's just like an MTV first look type deal, though. So, yes, I agree, Justin. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is so misunderstood. I think anybody that's never watched the Halloween series, watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 first. I will bet that you will appreciate that movie more if you've never seen any of the other movies. I have not seen Scanners yet, but the Horror Addicts actually sent that to me, so I plan on watching that in the near future. Rob, your dream is to become an actor? Do it. Start acting. Take classes. If you want to become anything, as cliche as it sounds, do it. I wanted to review movies, and I knew that there's no way I could ever do this. That was my initial thought. Like, there's no way I could get in front of a camera and talk about movies. I will completely fail. And I just forced myself to do it. I sat in front of a camera and I just kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and I kept doing it. And you know what? I got better. Or at least in my mind, I got better. So to me, fear is something that can easily be overcome by action. You know? Jump in head first. That's what you got to do. Are you going to fail? Yes. But are you going to get better? Yes. So there you go. All right, 80s slashers. I always feel trailers end up showing too much of the movie these days. Trailers, for the most part, are just horrible. And I do trailer reactions hoping to find a great one. And the Blade Runner trailer was really good. That's how you do a trailer. But you're right. There are so many trailers that are just completely... They give away the whole movie. And I hate that. I hate when I watch a trailer and I know everything. I know every beat of the movie. I know the beginning. I know the middle. And I know the end. And all they don't give you is like the very last scene of the movie. But who cares? You've given away everything else. So... Jude, you should definitely do it. All you have to do is get in front of a camera, start talking. That's all you got to do. I have a pad here. Since we're talking about reviewing, I have a pad here. This is the pad that I've been using for 2 years now. Yeah, but that's all my reviews. So... But yeah, I just write down my notes. It's really easy, guys, really. You write down your notes, what you liked, what you didn't like, throw a personal touch on there. And that's really my formula every time I do a review. And I try to maybe throw in something personal, you know? Like when I did my Prometheus review, I talked about my theater experience, which is I didn't have a theater experience because I was deployed. So, you know, throw something in there like a personal touch. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. I've always said that. American Gothic, is that a movie or a TV show? That's the new TV show that just came out. That's right. Somebody was telling me about that. I heard it's really good. There's 2 episodes out, I think. So I haven't seen it though. Good choices, Derek Mayu. I haven't seen any of those, and I know I've been wanting to see The Prowler and Slaughter High. I've seen April Fool's Day, but I don't remember it at all. And Madman, that's another camp slasher flick that's I've been wanting to see. Yeah, Aguirre, it is kind of cool. Sometimes I'll go through that pad and I'll find a review that I did like a year and a half ago with notes, and it's just, I don't know, I like keeping it because it kind of reminds me of like, you know, when I started and how far I've come, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool to keep that stuff. Oh, I own Happy Birthday to Me. I actually got the double feature with When a Stranger Calls, the original. Yeah. And I would say even Scream actually owes a huge debt to Happy Birthday to me. If you have seen that movie, they were one of the first that had like that huge twist at the end. I think they had like a couple twists, and I hadn't seen a movie do that, you know, from Scream since Happy Birthday to Me. So yeah. Anonymous person, do you read at all? Very little. I like reading biographies actually. Music biographies, film biographies. I guess nonfiction is kind of my thing. Yes, I am a veteran. Sab, what's up, man? Yeah, are you currently in, or you're out now? That's cool. Yeah, I did 24 years in the Air Force. So yeah. You ever seen Corpse Grinder? No, I have not. I don't even think I've ever heard of that. It comes at night. That's an A24 production. I haven't watched the trailer yet because I was thinking about doing a reaction for it. So, but isn't the director who directed Joel? Help me out, Gore. Who directed The Gift? Joel Eggers. God, I'm all over the place. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that trailer. Actually, as silly as that sounds. The Hidden, yes. The Hidden predates Jason Goes to Hell, and Adam Marcus said he had never seen The Hidden before, but it's very similar to Jason Goes to Hell. Yeah, I saw Twister in the theater. Really fun experience. It was like being inside a tornado. So yeah, Twister was another one of those really big. 96 was a big year for movies because you had Twister, you had Independence Day, you had Mission Impossible, the first one. So yeah. Thank you, Jude. Appreciate that. Oh, so you were in the Navy. Okay, cool. My best friend from back home, Joel Egerton, thank you very much. My best friend from back home actually joined the Navy, but he only did 4 years. So, but yeah, I joined the Air Force. So. Majorly sadistic, but favorite serial killer. I guess as far as like being interested in a serial killer, I mean, Ed Gein is probably one of the most interesting serial killers to kind of study because the guy was just completely whacked out of his brain. Another one is the good-looking guy. I'm trying to remember. Serial killers that really are kind of like Myers, I guess. Killers that have no like past, violent past or whatsoever. And then they just all of a sudden just start killing people. I think those are interesting. But I totally get what you're saying though, Lindsay. Of course, I wouldn't like worship any of them or anything like that. It's horrible what they do, and I think maybe that's a part of the reason why horror gets in trouble sometimes, because non-horror fans, they often think that horror fans, are into, killing people, and I don't know. They don't understand that it's just an escape. But yeah, if that makes any sense. Most accurate war film, Bundy. Thank you very much, Ted Bundy. That's it. Yeah, Ted Bundy's very interesting to read about. I do have a book on serial killers, so I think most horror fans have a book on serial killers. They're just interesting people to read about. They really are. I don't really watch any sports. I played basketball for quite a while, but I've never been really into watching sports. I don't like hate watching sports. Like I watch the Super Bowl every year because it's fun. I don't know, but yeah. Will Smith, I answered that earlier in this. I loved the ending of Bates Motel. Very, very good. The TV series Hannibal is very good, I think. I like the second season, I think the best. But yeah, Mads Mikkelsen's great as Hannibal, and that's a character that's hard to beat Anthony Hopkins. But he has, his version of Hannibal is very different than Anthony Hopkins, and I think it works. I don't know if I've seen the international cut of The Shining or not. I have the Warner Brothers Blu-ray, so I'm guessing probably not. So, yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer is also another very interesting serial killer. Completely whacked out of his skull. Yes, the Zodiac, another really good one. They never caught the guy, and I love Fincher's Zodiac movie, which doesn't have an ending, and it's still completely enthralling. Yeah, great movie, great character, very interesting killer. Clockwork Orange, yeah, I could probably do one down the line. I haven't seen Clockwork since the 80s. The first time I watched Clockwork was in the 80s, and really whacked out crazy ass movie. But it's Kubrick. Kubrick is the top notch. Kubrick to me is the greatest director of all time, whether you like his movies or not. The guy just the way he looked at things in the frame was different than any director ever, if that makes any sense. So, Tyler makes a good point about critics and horror reviews, because oftentimes you're right. They just kind of scratch the surface when it comes to horror. They're not like dyed-in-the-wool horror fans. And I think if I'm watching a horror review, I want to watch it from an actual horror fan, because I don't know, they kind of get it, you know? They appreciate good acting and good directing and all that. But yeah, I think they just have a sense of horror better than non-horror fans. Derek says his late great mom got him into horror movies and art. That's awesome. Sounds like you had an awesome mother there, Derek. Frank Darabont's ending in the mist. That was pretty crazy, and that's the reason I watched that one last year for the first time, and I knew that there was going to be a shocking ending, and yeah, the ending, it was pretty freaking crazy. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, that was a crazy damn ending. I liked it, because even though I knew it was going to be shocking, it still surprised me. Least favorite Kubrick film. I haven't seen all of Kubrick's films, so it's a tough one. And the ones I have seen, I enjoyed, so it's really a hard one for me to answer. What movie you don't like that everyone loves? Right now, I guess Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Yeah, I mean, one of the guys that watched my review said he gave me a dislike because I didn't like the movie, which I thought was kind of ridiculous, but yeah, I just didn't like it that much. Poltergeist franchise and Star Wars. I've actually been planning on doing both of those. I'm a Star Wars nut, as you can see to the right and to the left of me. I grew up on Star Wars, so it's just one of those franchises I've been very cautious about reviewing, because I want to, I guess, get it right, you know, if that makes any sense. But I want it to be special if I review Star Wars, you know? So I've been cautious about reviewing Star Wars. But Poltergeist 2, I showed my son that movie not too long ago for the first time, and he loved it. So yeah, Poltergeist is another one I'd love to review. All right, 2-minute warning, guys. We got 2 minutes, and then I'm going to hang it up. Best Batman that you like so far? Probably Keaton. And although I did like Affleck as Batman. I thought he was a good Batman. So yeah. Guys, so I'm gonna wrap this thing up. We did an hour and a half. I originally planned on doing like an hour, but you guys are so awesome, I wanted to just keep going. So I thank everybody for coming and doing this. I'll probably do another one of these, actually, maybe in a month or something like that. They're really fun, but I really enjoyed it. So I just want to say thank you guys for getting me to 5,000. I really appreciate that. I still can't believe I'm here. It's insane. I still can't believe people watch my reviews, and I thank you so much for everything you guys do for me. So I hate saying goodbyes, you know? Goodbyes were tough, but I'm gonna say goodbye, and all those that are asking questions right now, I'm gonna answer one more question from Metallica Maniac. You get the last question. Favorite band in the big four of metal? I'm gonna go with everybody says Metallica. Probably Metallica, but I'm a big Megadeth fan too. So, I'm gonna go Metallica just because their first 4 albums are like perfect. But Megadeth, I love Megadeth too. And thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. And tell little Tommy I said hello. And Lindsay had a baby a while ago. So yeah, I think that's awesome. But yeah, I will definitely do another one of these in a month. This was really fun, and when I hit stop, I don't have to do any editing, so I love that, and I like the spontaneity of this whole thing. So anyway, guys, thank you for making this awesome. I had a blast, and I bid you farewell. You guys have a great day.